Hello viewer, Zeke here. Quick little lore drop. There's this guy, and he's truly green, and he's the 7th of I don't know how many. He's a big shot PokeTuber who's made contests in the past. The first one being a video titled, I made Pokemon with 100 evolved forms. I participated in that. Didn't quite make a specific number. I didn't get top 50. I did get honorable mention. And the winner for that one, I don't know who the heck that is.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
Follow Beals on all these social medias and make sure to spam videos when. Back to Ron. This video is about his third contest, revolving around making evolutions for these starter Pokemon. Enough blabbing, let's start with the grass type. This was the first starter that I started on. What I knew about this Fakemon was that I didn't want it to be another heavy grass starter. Think like Torterra, Venusaur. They're both very weighty, bulky Pokemon, and I just wasn't a fan of how many of them there were. Kind of felt like it was starting to be its own typecast thing. So I wanted to try different proportions to see what fit well, and none of these really did. The first sketch was interesting, but not entirely the direction I wanted it to go. Oh, also, I'm leading with the final evolution and working my way backwards. I think it's easier to start with the ending so that I know what the bridging middle evolution needs. On the initial sketch, I was intending for the legs to grow, and for this sketch right here, I was wanting the legs to grow at will so that the person could kind of stretch out, kind of like Goku's staff, that red staff thing that extends. But the concept sketch didn't quite turn out the way I was wanting it to, so I scrapped the idea and kept it just as a tall fella. Not much I can add to the middle Evo. I did give it scrunchy pants as a leftover concept of the go-go legs from the final evolution, but other than that, pretty middle of the road Evo. So for the grass starters, I've ended up with Leafret, the swaying Pokemon. I made this one into a grass dark type, and the Pokédex entry reads, this Pokemon sways to the sound of music and is easily enraged if not enough songs are played. It prefers rock music. And after getting to level 36, it evolves into Leafriff, the Rockstar Pokemon. Pokédex entry goes, this Pokemon has learned to follow the sound of music, appreciating heavy riffs with a joyous smile. After making a kinda punk looking grass starter, I was trying to figure out a dark, edgy theme to fit with that would fit this fire bird. So in my darkest moments I remembered
Drifting King.
Drifting? O que é que isso significa?
So making a speedy bird have wheels to do some sick drifts was the only way to go. Then I had to decide how to make a bird look like a race car. After messing with it for too long, it ends up looking kinda like a plane, but honestly, that's good enough for me. Middle bird is middle bird. Not much to add to this. Just a fillermon for you! For the fire type evolutions, we end up with Sindash, the Dust Trail Pokemon. I made this turn into a fire ground type. Pokédex entry goes, this Pokemon is quick on its feet. Their dashing will kick up dust that is incredibly hot and can easily cause wildfires. And after getting to level 36, it evolves into Drifturno, the street racing Pokemon. Pokédex entry is, this Pokemon has grown pucks at its heels, allowing them to coast and skate. no longer needing to solely run. This water starter was also super strange in the fact that I had an actual idea for the middle evo before I had any idea for the final evolution. And for the middle evo, I had the idea of the metal growing to kind of like encapsulate the iguana core, kind of like a Bakugan, but I was still kind of having tires on my mind. I ended up going with a tire look as opposed to a full-on sphere ball shape. Like the first two stages, I had to find a theme for this starter, and the metal made me think of a mohawk. And that's what ended up giving me the punk idea. Gave him a cool horns up pose to make it more punk, more like a punk guy, you know, more like a punkster. Then I kind of just beefed up the metal bits to make it big and chunky, to give it kind of that weight that I think punk people tend to have. They have like bulky accessories, but they're relatively thin. And lastly, we have the water type evos, Aguarmer, the armored Pokemon. I made this turn into a water steel type. The Pokédex entry goes, this Pokemon has wrapped itself in its metal casing, allowing it to roll at high speeds, knocking over anything in its path. And after getting it to level 36, you have Aguanarchy, the rebellious Pokemon. Pokédex entry is, this Pokemon has left its shell, no longer in fear, and now seeks destruction, and fights with any Pokemon. I had given myself a timer. I had said to myself that I was going to limit to spending only an hour on each of these lines. What I ended up spending was an hour and 5 minutes on the grass starter, 1 hour 29 minutes for the fire starter, and 49 minutes on the water starter. This is all just the sketching. The coloring and the rendering time was something entirely different. I hadn't drawn any traditional starter Pokemon in an awfully long time, so shaking that rust off was a lot of fun. I ended up liking the grass starter a lot more than I ever thought I would. At the time of recording, I have no idea if I placed or not. This is like the last day of submissions, but if you somehow found this video before Ron's, then I implore you to go over there, give that video a look, and keep an eye out for yours truly. Okay. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye bye. Okay, bye.